sometimes creatives find, I think, almost too much joy in being able to fire a client.
Growing your business, how do you guys find the ideal client? You know, the ones that the best fit for you guys. I know you talk about taking up space, this idea of just being where they're naturally present or consciously at, you know, like this idea of, you know, the brand, when someone thinks this, they think, you know, of your company.
Right.
I want to talk a little bit about getting clients, and then of course firing clients, because I know that's sometimes you got to let go of the bad ones or deal with the bad ones, or the miscommunications or whatever. How do you, just all the mess, right? So first I want to talk about what's the way that you guys approach acquiring new work. Is it just relationships? Is it keywords? Is it all the above? Is it...
It's a little bit of all of the above. Now we do a lot in trying to, you know, get our work out in the world. We do a lot of work to try to be noticed when people are looking for things online that relate to what we do. We do a lot of work to try to have great relationships with people that, you know, are connected to things that could become opportunities. And so I think that that's worked well for us, but it's not, you know, it's not one thing that you got to do. It's just, for us, it's been a lot of different activities that when you put it all together, it works.
Wish there was just a thing to flip or a switch to, you know, button to hit.
Right. It's like saying, how do you score a goal in soccer? Right.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of different ways, and you can practice, but you still a lot of times win because like their goalie kicked it in for you. Right. And you thought, well, I've been sitting here planning for 2 years on how to get the right client, and that just fell in my lap.
Right.
But you know, I do think that, you know, the people that work harder tend to be a little bit luckier, so to speak. And so, you know, it's hard to know exactly, but the more that you can know what you're going for, the easier it is to identify that and to begin to draw that line, you know, from A to B. But
do you guys have like an avatar client that you go after, or is it just kind of
we have like 3 different ones, and we know that they have different mindsets and they have different needs, and we're going to get to them in 3 different ways, and we kind of customize the process and the pricing for each one of those. But what we do is very similar in the midst of that. So because we have I always said that creative agencies typically have a whole host of services that they offer to one very specific target, or they have a very specific service that they can target to a host of people. And we're more that secondary type where we have a very specific, we're very hyper-focused in brand identity, but we have a way to offer that to, you know, an executive at a multi-billion-dollar company, or at a mid-size company that's in growth mode, or a startup, right? And we realize those are 3 different things, and pricing has to be different. The way you relate to them is different. The process is different. But what we are actually doing is the same. What we're producing for them is the same, but they value it differently. You know, this person's thinking about the startup person's thinking about their livelihood. The person in corporate America is thinking about how do they get their next promotion. So either way, you know, how do we make them the hero, but knowing that the hero for an entrepreneur and how they become a hero is very different than how the CMO becomes a hero.
So on the flip side, you have a client, you produce a work, you realize we're not going to do this again, or this was a terrible experience for both of us. Or, I mean, what is the best way, in your opinion, to go about gracefully? I'm almost like Dave Ramsey. I will release you to the competition. Let you fly. I will set you free.
I will say that most of the time, when you just have that open conversation, I find that if I'm feeling this way, there's a real good chance they're feeling the same way too. Right? Like, this is not, hey, my sense is this is probably not working for either of us. We're having a lot of tough times. We're not finding a way through it. So either we gotta figure out how to have a different type of conversation and different type of relationship. And here's the things we're no longer going to do. But I think you want people that will do that. And so I think it's better if how can I help you find somebody else? And I think I always want to have that.
That's very real. That's very Ritz-Carlton of you. It's like, Horst Schulze talks about that customer, that person that comes to the Ritz-Carlton and was complaining and always making us stink about the room isn't this or that, and just making stuff up to try to just get free services or discounts or whatnot. And they just literally hired a limo, put the guy's stuff in the limo, had them booked a hotel for him down the road, basically just escorted this guy out in the most incredible way down the street to a different see you later.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that there still needs to be that attitude of sometimes creatives find, I think, almost too much joy in being able to fire a client because it feels a little bit like this this power move, like I'm going to fire you and I don't need you, and maybe it's best we not work together, but how can I still have an attitude of service in the midst of
100%.
that?
Yeah. Where's your heart at with it, right? I mean,
because they're coming to me because they need help.
Yeah.
If I can no longer help them,
it's almost like
maybe I can help them find somebody that can. And that's
and your reputation is maintained through that, right? As well. Because if you were to just fire them, like, look at me, I don't need your work, I don't need you. You're going to develop a poor reputation out of that, which you began your business, with, is not going to be there anymore. So you've got to, how do you maintain that respect and that high caliber and high character across the board, regardless of,
one of our guiding principles is respect and honor everyone, right? Like everybody from the person, delivering a package to the door to our best client, like everybody should feel the same, and our best client and our toughest client and our oddest client, right? Because everybody has that client that there's just, whether it's a dynamic within their company that's hard, or they're just a very interesting character. I just love people, and so when I get around those people, I love it because I just think this is so fun. I've never seen a person like this before. How can I figure out how to help this person? But sometimes agencies can have this culture of bad mouthing the client, and we go in the meeting, we serve, and we get back and say, wow, that person really has no idea what they were doing, and it's like, we got to cut that stuff out. We have to, like, they are coming to us with something that's very important to them, and they're paying us a lot of money to help them be successful. They don't need us talking crap about them. They need us respecting them and cheering for them and rooting them on and helping. Again, even if that means they got to go somewhere else, I can wish for them to be successful. I mean, I heard that one of the best, antidotes to resentment is praying for the person what you want for yourself. So how do I help? I want to be successful. So if this person's driving me crazy, I can separate from them, but I can still want the best for them, and I can still do what I can to maybe set them on a better path.
That's great. Man, I love that. So Matchstic today, where are you guys headed? What's the goal right now that you're chasing or building towards? What's got your time and attention and focus?
Yeah, I mean, we've had this vision of being the branding powerhouse of the South, right? A lot of the big
is that like
firms,
on the wall? Is that a coin?
That is
the branding powerhouse of the South.
Yes, that is what we talk about that a lot in
T-shirts made walking around.
We don't have T-shirts, so it's not necessarily a public message, but
kidding.
It is something that really unites us and fires us all up, and I think it helps us even strategically when we say, all right, are we gonna, start another capability, or are we going to go deeper into branding? I mean, we can come back to, well, what helps us achieve becoming this branding powerhouse of the South, and what are the things that we got to do in order to get there? And I think that there might be, certain pockets and people that maybe view us that way, but there's a whole lot we have to do to really achieve that. And so that's what fires us up. I think the opportunity to help organizations define or refine their identity, to sometimes it's coming up with something brand new, sometimes it's just elevating and overhauling what is a little bit old and stale. But there's just such a power and a pride that people have in having a flag that they're more proud to fly. I mean, literally, I love country flags, right? Because that's brand identity. It's just colors and shapes. But you know what? No, like, can you ask like a patriot, like Stars and Stripes, whatever, it's just colored and shapes. Like, no, this is who I am. Right. And I I can have a American flag patch on my backpack anywhere in the world, and that person all of a sudden they know a lot of what they need to know about me just by seeing those colors and shapes. And people inside an organization, sometimes there's a little bit of passion begins to wane over time, and a lot of what we do, it can really reinvigorate the team's passion. It reminds them, oh, this is why I wanted to come work here.
Yeah.
This is why I wanted to get in that industry. And all of a sudden, it's amazing when you see people, the flag is all of a sudden more places, right? And we've had a few tattoos that were made and things like that. And that's the ultimate, when you see a logo that you did turned into a tattoo.
Absolutely, right?
But it happens.